ELI5. Why does ice you buy from the store have holes in the middle? Also, why are they more clear than what a home ice maker produces? Tangentially, the bags of ice at my local deli bear the label premium ice. What exactly is that and how is it different from regular ice? There are only so many ways you can innovate on frozen water. Maybe it's the holes. For what it's worth, they also say proudly made in the USA, which begs the question, why would anyone want to import ice that was manufactured abroad? And what is there to be proud of? It's ice. We put a man on the moon and we're bragging about our ice? What's up with that? Ice gets cloudy when you freeze water and it pushes the gases inside. Since water normally freezes from the outside inwards, it also traps the gas, causing the ice to become cloudy. To make clear ice you need to freeze water from a single direction to allow the gases to collect in a single point that can either be removed later or expel the gas entirely. You can do it at home, but it will never be as good as at industry scale. You can get ice makers that do a reasonably good job. Nowhere near perfect, however. The ice in commercial ice makers freezes from the inside out, so the dissolved oxygen is forced out as it freezes. In a standard ice tray, the surface of the water freezes first and consequently traps the dissolved oxygen inside the cube, forming tiny bubbles which give the cube its opaque appearance. Domestic ice machines operate more like an ice tray than a commercial ice machine. Water is sprayed up into metal molds that have refrigerant lines attached. As the mold cools, the water recirculates, getting colder every time until the water starts to freeze on the mold. Any particulate in the water gets pulled by gravity off of the growing ice. When the ice gets to a certain size, warm water is sprayed on top of the molds to loosen and free the ice. Gotta say, it's not backed by science or anything. I'm just a bartender. But I've been using ice molds for ages and I've since learned that if you pour hot water into it and put it directly in the freezer, it freezes clear. Whereas cold water always has a cloudy look. Someone could probably explain it, but I know this to be true. It's for more surface area to cool based on making ice as fast as possible. They dip refrigerated rods in really purified water. That's why it's so clear versus tap water, and it freezes from the rod out, leaving that hold when the rods retract to release the batch. The holes are so they can give you less ice for the same price. A bag of ice with holes in each piece has less ice than a bag with no holes, but takes up the same amount of space. That way you have to buy more than one bag to get the same amount of cooling. The cloudiness in homemade ice cubes is from gas bubbles forced out of solution as the water freezes. Commercial ice makers probably preheat the intake water or use a hot water feed which will take all the water ahead of time and give ice without bubbles. Most ice bags have tubed and cubed shaped ice. Tubed is a larger surface area and makes your drink cold faster. Cubed has less surface area so makes it cold longer. You need both to have a drink that is cold for a quick time and for a long time. So it's not that our reverse osmosis is cleaner than the city water, it's that it fills with less bubbles than the other tap. TRRR. At least it has less dissolved gases, I suppose. Sure makes for nicer looking ice. Doesn't the purity of the water also affect how clear or opaque the ice will be? As in, pure water will yield clear ice, and water with higher levels of impurities and minerals will yield ice that is more opaque. This reminds me of how Inuit catch polar bears. First, they cut a hole in the ice. Then, they fill the hole with peas. Finally, when the polar bear comes to take a pee, they kick him in the ice hole. I'm not sure exactly what the ice companies do to make the ice clear, but here's a YouTube short explaining how to make clear ice. This is off topic, but those twice the ice vending machines are a scam. It's a lot of ice, but for some reason it doesn't last nearly as long as the ice I get from a gas station. Also, for perfectly clear ice, you need to freeze boiling water. I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but hot water is less dense, freezes faster and is more clear. We ran ammonia down on the inside of tubes with water running on the outside of tubes. Ammonia would instantly freeze the water and it'll just break into ice. Laziest way to make clear ice, nobody talks about. The hole is from the way they make it refrigerated rods that get dipped in water, forming ice on the outside.